Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how repetitive adulthood can feel. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, and then you go to sleep. And then you wake up just to do it again and again and again. You know, I think I'm at that point now where I don't want a better job. I don't want a different position. I don't even want to figure out what I'm supposed to do next. I think I just want to stop because at this point I have completely fizzled out. I've called into work for the last 2 days because I could feel this dark cloud hovering over me, and I knew that if I forced myself to go in, I was liable to snap on somebody. And my biggest fear is actually going off on a customer because it's not their fault. I've been uncomfortable at work for a long time, but the last few weeks have felt a little different. There hasn't been a day where I haven't thought about quitting. I've often daydreamed about handing in my resignation letter and what it would say, or what I would write in my last email to my coworkers. Hell, I've even thought about handing my boss the resignation letter quietly and just walking out. No explanation, just, I'm done, here you go. But then, when I think about going work, when reality snaps back in, I start to physically get sick. My head starts pounding and my stomach gets upset. I've talked to some close friends about this, but it's hard to explain to them because I don't think they truly understand. Because looking at me from the outside, I'm still functioning. I'm still showing up when I can, and I'm getting a lot of things done. And on the outside, I still look like me. But on the inside, I feel completely exhausted. And you know what? I think that's one of the strangest things about burnout. The fact that you can look completely fine on the outside, but on the inside, you could be dying and thinking to yourself, I don't know how much longer I can do this. The thing that really gets me, though, is that when I ask myself what I want to do next, the answer is always the same. It's nothing. And I'm not saying that I don't want to do absolutely nothing for the rest of my life. I'm just saying that if someone gave me the opportunity to not work for at least 2 months, to not have to wake up at the same time every day, to travel the same route, to arrive at the same place, to complete the same tasks, I would totally take it. And you know what I would do? I would rest. I would probably just sleep. I want my brain to be quiet for a little while because calling in sick just isn't helping anymore. It just feels like I'm borrowing time. And I think it's because I know when I get back to the office, there'll be even more work waiting for me. I know this is most people's lives, and I know that most people have gotten used to it. But it's just something that I really struggle with, especially lately. And it's caused me to think about a lot of scenarios that played out earlier in my life, especially those times where women were trying to give me advice. You know, the advice that sounds funny when you're young, but then you get older and you're like, oh man, I should have listened. She knew what she was talking about. And when I think about that advice that I was given time and time again, and how I didn't take it or didn't take heed, I honestly want to cry. I'm so tired now. I mean, I am really tired. There's days when I look in the mirror and I pull out more gray hairs than I can even count. I don't feel like that energetic, ambitious version of myself I used to imagine. I sometimes even wonder if that girl even exists. You know, lately all I can think about is freedom. I have these daydreams about selling everything, buying a little trailer or an RV, traveling around the country, staying at different campgrounds, and waking up somewhere new every week, not having someone else decide when my time begins and ends. And I know that that's probably not a realistic solution to everything I'm feeling, but I don't think that the RV is really the point. I think what I'm actually daydreaming about is having control over my time, and maybe that's what I've been missing. I don't necessarily know what I want my next chapter to look like. I just know that it can't look like this one. It's one thing to hate your job and know exactly what you want to do next, but it's another thing to be so exhausted that you can't even think about having another job, let alone wanting one. You just want a break from being responsible. I'm not dreaming about some huge career change, and I'm not dreaming about becoming wildly successful anymore. I'm dreaming about waking up and not immediately feeling like I owe the day to somebody else. Maybe that's why I've been thinking so much about freedom lately, and I don't know what I'm going to do about my job yet. I don't know if quitting is the answer. I don't even know what I would do if I actually quit. But I do know that something has to change. I don't want to keep calling in sick just to recover enough to go back and feel sick again. there's this whole other conversation happening in my head. How much of my life am I willing to give away just to be able to say I'm doing okay? I don't have an answer yet. I just know I'm getting tired of pretending that being functional means I'm fine.